right, so I'm super thrilled to be here, and let me first say that this is my first con and my first time in Copenhagen, and I got to do amazing stuff yesterday. So Wendy Nather brought me to a blacksmith where I did forge myself a hook, and let me tell you, like, actual metal forging is a lot harder than forging packets, so I'm clearly not changing career path. Also not pictured here was electric biking from downtown back to the area here, which was a lot of fun as well that we did that on Monday evening. This presentation was done by myself, but some people deserve additional credit. I want to talk about Eric Clay here and also Estelle Ruellan, but for the sake of time, I need to go. Now, this presentation is not about like spending hours coding your own RC 0 days. This is about the information stealer malware. It's a portion of cybercrime that is really around less sophisticated. The quality of the malware is quite high, but the ecosystem, as you'll see, it's a very young and like very emoji-heavy environment. I have many screenshots of the Telegram channels, and you'll see what I mean in a short time. So what are we going to talk about today? What is information stealer malware? This is going to be a quick recap. I kind of assume that most of you is familiar with it. We're going to go through like various screenshots of victims. So part of the information stealer package, they take a screenshot of the victim computer, and we're going to go through them to get a sense of what is the infection vector. Then we're going to go beyond the credentials that we know are part of what is stolen and see what else is stolen in the part of the infection. We're going to touch on meta, redline, takedown. Also, I added yesterday evening some Luma C2 information. And then we're going to talk defense and mitigation strategies, and I have community gifts for you. So a quick recap on information stealer malware. This is basically you infect your own computer, and usually via cracked software and or other distribution mechanism. The information stealer runs, it can run as admin, but it's not necessary, so it runs on the privilege level of the infection, and it will try to grab everything that it can. So it's really about stealing information. Data is exfiltrated via C2, various different C2 mechanism, and then the information stealer logs is what the cybercrime community calls it, is basically a zip file that represents everything that was stolen. And each of the different strains of malware family have their own way of packaging them. The screenshot, the autofill, the credentials, everything that is stolen is packaged a little bit differently. But this is the key piece of intelligence that we have and that I worked with building this presentation. And then these log files are distributed on Telegram channel, sometime on their own, sometime packaged up into bigger collection of information stealer log files. So 2 little known facts about information stealer malware. No admin rights are required. And also, in many cases, most cases, there's no persistence. Sometimes there is persistence, but in most cases, there's no persistence. And I believe that this is done so that people can minimize the impact of the infection. They can be like, oh, there's nothing left. It was just a badly cracked Photoshop that we tried to download and run. There's nothing to worry here. So I talked about the zip file. We'll go a bit, zoom into what it looks like, one stealer log. So you have the cookies, autofill, Discord stuff that is stolen, domains detected, install browser, install software, passwords, process list, user information. So all of this type of stuff is stored. It's all in the form of flat files, so text files with like the URL, username, password, and then the browser profile or the application. Sometimes it's packaged up together. Sometimes it's for each profile there is a password file like that. And how it's distributed is you have, for example, this is a Telegram example of distribution. So you have a daily zip file of all of the victims that are each individually zipped. So it's kind of like a meta package. And then each of these zip will have the various files that I've showed you, system info, password, and then the desktop screenshot and cookies and files. Now, the economy behind the InfoStealer ecosystem, you have like, it's most of the time sold as a malware as a service model. So here's an example of a red line ad that was collected on Telegram. So they have feature sets, and then they talk about it. You can see like the various features supported. Here you can have like the FUD method. So FUD is the cyber crime slang for fully undetected. You also have different build options. So they will increase the file size so that it bypasses some heuristics for EDR and AV. You have obfuscation. You can use a dropper or not. So it's very customizable. So the malware itself is different than how it's operated by the purchaser. An example of a campaign is one of the threat actor will get the stealer malware and then will create videos around like convincing people to crack software to for example, AutoCAD or Photoshop, like expensive software. They will then, in the video, explain how to run the crack. They will provide a link to the crack software in the YouTube video, and they will oftentimes add a password to that zip, and they will be like, oh, we cannot distribute this. This is illegal, so this is why AV detects it. So they give a social engineering warning that AV is going to pop up, and users are expecting it. And so they upload these fake tutorial videos on YouTube, sometimes via takeover accounts that were compromised so that the account has been there a long time and is credible. And then they will buy ads to go through that YouTube video. So it's a very well-oiled machine of mass infections. This threat has been growing, I think, in the last couple of years significantly. And part of it is because they're very successful at infecting a lot of machines. Now on the distribution side, so the operators, they will usually sell in bulk. They sell monthly access or lifetime access, and you can see different prices here. Here they promise like monthly 150,000 to 250,000 logs, individual logs. So that's individual machines that are infected. There is some messing up with the data, like they will change some stuff in the log and make it appear as new. So these numbers might be inflated, and it's very difficult to deduplicate for us because they changed the content. Like if we could just hash it and be like, okay, we know it's the same, but this is what we already do, and we still see these different sets of credentials. So I think they just inject different new combination of usernames and passwords, and so it creates a new hash, and so it looks like a new infection. But so it's still significant, but they might be inflating the numbers a little bit, and they compete. So why not inflate numbers if you want to be more appealing to some of the threat actor that want to buy the stealer log? This is an example of a Telegram ad. There's also websites dedicated to distribute these types of logs, and here you see a completely different pricing scheme and a very nicely designed neon-based website. So we think that high-value logs would be logs where there are corporate credentials in them. So we believe that not all of it goes directly on the Telegram for the resell. We think that some of them is being fed into initial access brokers, or some of them could also be used for targeted attacks directly, depending on the content. But then after, where the logs are resold everywhere, you can find them some on dark web forums. There's a Russian market specifically, and also lots of illicit Telegram channel. And some actors are also buying them. So like you see at the bottom, like always buying private logs in bulk from 100,000. Contact me if you have it regular. So you can see that it goes both ways. People are selling, some people are buying, and all of that. now where do the low value logs go? Well, there's like a Costco free sample type of methodology that is used here. So the low value logs or old logs are recycled as samples. So you can see for yourself if you join the right Telegram channels. But so be careful, however, because we've found some of the free Stealer log infected with executables in it that had another Stealer log detonation in it. Hacking tools also that leverages Stealer logs like checkers, which I'm going to talk about later. We've also seen some of them infected with Stealer log, information stealer malware, so you need to be careful here. So some numbers about what we see. We see around 1 million unique, and again, you know, if they change something, it's unique for us. But 1 million logs per week, so it's pretty significant. We have around 120 million total Stealer log in our collection right now, and roughly 15 million of them contain corporate credentials. And it has been linked to major breaches, including Ticketmaster, AT&T, Santander Bank. So it is a problem, and for us, these are often more critical than combo list or ULPs or other leaked credentials that are seen online. The actionability or the fact that you have the URL with it really makes it like you have the username, you have the password, and you have what you can do with that combination. So this is what makes it, I think, a more immediate threat. However, I want to say that since a couple of months, the other big credentials that are distributed called ULPs, so URL, login, password, we've seen their quality increase. They used to be really bad, but now we see that the breach or previously disclosed Stealer log data is now being fed into ULPs, making them higher quality. So there is it's not really new, but part of the talk, we wanted to show victims' desktop screenshots. And so we call them like mid-heist selfies, as if like the threat actor is taking a selfie of the victim behind him, right? Like pretty much like this little girl here, or these guys or girls here. We're going to cover 2 campaigns. One targeting Microsoft cracked software, and another one targeting Midjourney. So for Microsoft, what we have is people looking to crack Office 2021, 2022. And so they, again, like the context here is this screenshot was distributed in a Stealer log. So we know that when the malware detonated, this was the environment visible for that particular victim. We have lots of context if we look through the screenshot. But it's interesting. So for us, we use this to know like what are the campaigns running by just looking at the victim screenshots. Another one here, we see do we see it? Yeah, we see an executable like formicell.exe in the middle of the screenshot, also with a Microsoft ad showing up. And here is distributed from Mega, a crack for Office 2022. So many of the distribution mechanisms are around that, and that campaign specifically. Here we have another one. It's the same name as the previous one, but it's a distinct infection. And some of the malware will have very similar characteristics to the real software, right? It looks like the legitimate Office download product, but it's not. It's Stealer log infected. The user is a bit disappointing here, and the infection happened. So this example here was clearly one where the ads were being sold, so people would Google for cracked software, and then the ads would be the thing on top, and then they would get infected. Now for Midjourney, what is interesting about Midjourney is almost all geeks know that Midjourney was available only via Discord, that there was no directly usable executable. I believe it's no longer the case. I think now you can download software that is leveraging Midjourney. But so people Googling back then, it was an opportunity for the threat actors, since the Midjourney was such a strong brand to generate quality AI images before the competition caught up. It means that people were Googling for it, and so if you purchased ads or made good SEO, you were on top. So this is one of the other victim Googling for Midjourney. And then we have a little story via various screenshots. So here we have one where you see that the first ad here, and you see it's a French-speaking computer because the desktop is written in French. But so you see that the domain is ai.mid-journey.org, which is not the legitimate Midjourney system. And so you get to a page where you can download it. So this another victim where you have that, and you can see that they give a little bit of social engineering, saying, yes, obviously this powerful AI tool may falsely trigger your AV, so don't worry, click through every error that you'll get, you know, no problem there. And then you download an executable, and then when you run it, it says disable your antivirus and try again. And so a bit disappointing on the user's part, but it's pretty clever that they gave an advance notice to the victim. And then we have victims Googling how to disable Bitdefender antivirus. So they launched the malware, and they were infected because the screenshot was taken, but they still had this page open from before. And then we see also some victims that are at the moment of the infection. They are on the Defender screen, and we see tamper protection deactivated, real-time protection deactivated. It is pretty upsetting to see. And then we have people that are in post-compromise assessments, AI.Midjourney or virus. So they're kind of, oh, they got self-conscious. Is this real or not? Ouch, poor them. And we have some of the victims that are at the phase where they realize the software doesn't work and they want to delete it. So this is for Cinema 4D. It's not Midjourney, but they're trying to get rid of the Cinema 4D software. Maybe they're feeling guilty to pirate software, but so it's too late. They were infected. So what we like to say here is like free Midjourney can lead to a triple extortion ransomware attack. I know we laugh about it a little bit, but it's kind of not really funny. Beyond credentials, so this is the part of the original research that I wanted to do is I was asking colleagues like, what is there more than just credentials in there? Like, have you looked at this? Did we check the files and everything? And they were like, no, we didn't really check that. So I was like, nice, we have a big collection, I'll find stuff. So what I found is like most of the malware families, there are file harvester modules, and they will go after many file types, but they will stay in the lightweight range, but still damaging range. So they go after documents, so PDF, doc, docx. They go after spreadsheets, TXT files, and then KeePass-specific database files, and always focus on documents and desktop folders, so they want to avoid slurping the whole Windows folder, which is understandably so. And so this here we see a lot of French names, including some homework so for philosophy. And this was the screenshot of the desktop's victim here. So we see French speaking, and we see that the infection happened via Adobe Illustrator crack.exe, which happens to be a 700 megabyte piece of software in the executable, which is probably very uncommon. The data files are probably elsewhere. But so interesting again to see to make the link between what is stolen and what happened. We also found out that they were going after specific Chrome extension for MFA. And so we wanted to validate what was going on here. So if we look at the log files that are stolen, these are of the level DB format. So the plain text stuff is visible. The integers are packed, but the plain text stuff can be extracted easily. So if we look at it in JSON format, we seem to have everything needed to be able to do a TOTP replay attack. And so we have the algorithm, the counter, the number of digits, and then the secret. So we wanted to reproduce it. Like, can an attacker who has access to these logs reproduce the TOTP token of a victim? And here it is. So on the right-hand side, left-hand side for you, you see this is our victim, and on the right-hand side is our attacker. So in number 1, I generated a TOTP token using the Authenticator app. Then I stole my log just like the information stealer malware does, right? It's not protected by any other privilege level or whatever. It's a Chrome extension accessible for your user. So from this, I extracted the secret key that is in that level DB file. And then I used the standard TOTP generator. And with that secret, I was able to generate the same tokens. TOTP is time-based, so there's no like seed or nothing to start it. It relies on the clock. And so I confirmed that, OK, with these specific infections, the attackers are able to recreate TOTP tokens. The targeted browser extensions are in these folders. So this is something for people interested in doing IR on this stuff. Good to know. And they steal both local extension settings and synchronized extension settings. So if your corporate policy doesn't allow synchronization, it will still steal the local stuff. And there is an IR tool that will parse the IndexedDB, LevelDB data. It was hard to find, so this is why I shared a link here. You can get it from there, and then like more than the strings will be available. I looked at also password manager browser extensions, and Bitwarden was being targeted, and it also supports multiple browser, multiple profiles. So here, just this single infection had 3 different Bitwarden logs stolen. I tried to look and see if it was dangerous or not. And what the good news is that this is, it's a cloud-based product. So obviously, they don't synchronize the vault and store it in the extension. And these are only logs, and they're probably useful for debugging purposes. But what they did that is good is they encrypted a lot of the content of the log, more than just the password. So they encrypted the URLs, they encrypted the names, they encrypted everything. And they used their super state-of-the-art encryption with the IV and everything. So the only thing that I have left to test that I haven't done, I have to admit, here is if I know the master password, can I decrypt the logs? That I'm still not sure. They could use a temporary password stored somewhere. I'm not sure here what the scheme is, but still, like right now, I would feel safe if my Bitwarden log were exfiltrated that way, that it couldn't lead to further compromission. I looked at the KeePass password vaults, and I was wondering, is there a memory dump of it? Is there keying material stolen more so? The answer is no. These are just the files themselves. However, there's tooling in place to be able to crack them. So John the Ripper, part of the Jumbo package, has a script that will parse a KeePass file, dump a file that the key in a format that is compatible with John the Ripper and Hashcat. So there's kind of a pipeline to crack them. And also you have to think like if your password or a derivation of the password is present in your browser passwords, in the in the saved password for your browser, then you could be susceptible to an offline attack, which is a lot faster than online attacks. So it's a risk to keep thinking about. Another thing that is stolen is the Google master cookies. This is a strange thing that can be leveraged by strange tools that probably infect your computer. But so allegedly, with this Google master cookie, you can generate cookies for all of the Google property domains, and they work, and there's little to be done against that, and you know, Google wants to keep everyone authenticated. As soon as you ask people to re-authenticate, you lose a certain percentage of users apparently for these free services. But so they designed a cookie system that allows them to do cross-domain stuff. I'm not sure. Apparently, like, they've stolen this technique in Chromium's open source source code. It's hidden somewhere there. But so with this and this hacker tool, you can generate cookies that are going to be valid. Now, the countermeasure here is that if one of the characteristics of your cookie, or of your access to the Google property differs, you'll likely be blocked by Google, blocked or asked to re-authenticate or do MFA. So basically, you need to get everything perfect. You need to be from the same country. You need to have like same user agent and everything. So these attacks are probably harder to do by the bad guys than just reusing other credentials on other weaker services. Now, anything else? Yes, Azure, Discord, Steam, Electrum, AnyDesk, VPN stuff, including OpenVPN, FileZilla, Binance. Lots of crypto wallets are being targeted. Everything is stolen from there. And also cookies. So we have billions of cookies from all of the information stealer infections that we found. And so the risk for cookie, you really need to think about application security. Maybe it's not a big risk for you, and like for most banks, it's not a big risk. But for some cookie, it could be a big risk. And cookies are hard to leverage, and most cybercriminals are not that sophisticated. You know, they use very simple tools. And so they created a tool suite called Checkers. These are tools that are proxy first, and that will focus on testing if the sessions are working. What's encouraging when we look at a screenshot like that is they're really after consumer stuff. They're not after like authenticating against Entra ID or, you know, corporate level things. Like here is Steam, you know, Netflix, YouTube, and stuff like that. So fortunately for us defenders, they are kids going after kids stuff. Now, I wanted to talk about what's going on with the defense and the mitigation strategies. One big defensive mechanism that appeared last fall is application-bound encryption. So this is Chrome and all Chromium-based browser encrypting the cookies and the password better and protecting them with a privileged service that is only accessible via specific entry point. So you can no longer just do file I/O and steal all the data. However, look, I'm going to go a bit quickly over this. Unfortunately, if you have questions, you can come and see me. But so the thing is, it was bypassed super quickly. But I want the community to realize that yes, it was bypassed, and there were several bypass techniques. So you launch a headless Chrome with remote debugging. You can dump memory, but this requires admin. You can interact with the elevated service using ComObject and impersonate Chrome, just like Chrome does. Or you can disable ABI registry key, kill the Chrome process, and then when the Chrome is relaunched, ABE, application-bound encryption, is disabled. But what I want the people to remember is that it doesn't matter, because all of these new attacks are a lot noisier than before, okay? Before, you needed to do file I/O on an SQLite files and one DP API call, and you have everything you needed to decrypt the content. Now you need to either it requires admin, or you need to do some process injection, or you need to impersonate stuff regarding ComObjects. So AV and EDR vendors are picking up. And for IR, there's also a lot more visibility going on. So it is something that improved the state of the art, although the news said it was bypassed immediately. Now, another way to do defense in depth is testing for credentials. Yeah, so this is something that I'm going to share later today. The code to be able to test for credentials against Entra ID. There's also more defense mechanism coming. I'm sorry, I'm really running out of time, so I'm gonna have to skip through the redline meta section real fast here. But redline and meta, they basically were both the same. So like Duff beer in both cases, it was taken down. It took 2 years for law enforcement to take it down from when Flair and ESET presented it at BotConf 2 years ago. The law enforcement did a pretty cool video that maybe many of you have seen about.
This is the final update for Redline.
Redline.
This update has been made in partnership with international law enforcement.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip it because I'm running out of time. Oops. Yeah, I wanted to do an update. Does takedown actually work? Here is, so last month in May, there was a Luma C2 takedown. And if you look at the dark red color, this is the Luma C2 infections that we see, the victims that we see. And since the May 21st, the number of infections increased and not decreased. So one of the key takeaways here is that the fallback C2 is Telegram. So you're not getting, even if you seize domains, you're not getting rid of the issue. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go very, very quick because I have my buddy here. I wanted to say we have community contributions for you. I have credential testing script and also sample set of Stealer log if you are interested. You can come and see at the booth. I'm just going to skip the conclusion. You can come and see us at the booth if you want to talk about information stealer malware. Also, the first question, and I have 2 minutes for a question, we'll have the chance to get a NorthSec 2024 badge. NorthSec is a conference I run in Montreal, Canada, and it's a lot of good time. So thank you so much for your time. Questions?
Could ask the question, so I get the. Any question from the audience? See people moving. Yes.
Yeah.
Who was first?
I don't know.
At the same time.
Yeah. Hi, Oliver. Thanks for the talk. It was really interesting. Maybe a silly question, but a lot of these info stealers and malware, they rely on Telegram, sort of as a C2, as you mentioned. Is there any way to take those down, like through Telegram itself? Are they cooperative? Does that even have an effect?
So we don't see much collaboration. So Telegram changed its behavior since the arrest of Pavel last year, but we don't see it much happening on the cybercrime side of things. Some of the really big things will be taken down, but it's always being recreated super quick. Like I would, and also Telegram, I think, is hard to block for corporate environments because it is a kind of a normal user thing now, and it's not only bad stuff. So I think this combination makes it really tough for defenders.
Thank you.
Hi, Olivier. Thanks a lot for the excellent talk. I have a question about the economy behind this, and more particularly about the if you have seen any kind of like a close relationship between nation-state threat actors and APTs, and kind of like the people behind the info stealer, I would say, market. Like, do nation-state threat actors go to these guys, like to get initial access or what have you? Or do you think it's like mostly cybercrime related?
So we are a darknet monitoring company, so our telemetry is very limited regarding post-incident and stuff like that, right? We only collect the zip from cybercrime forums. And so I can't say, like I don't know. Maybe there are some threat actors, state-sponsored threat actors behind some of these threats, maybe no. What I know is that in the Redline and the Luma C2 case, the Russians were not arrested, so this is why it's still going on, right? They took down a bunch of domains, but they couldn't get to the perpetrators. So I think maybe they have help, but I can't tell from what I have access to.
Thanks.
Well, Oliver will be available at the booth if you have further questions. Let's thank him again for the great presentation.
Thank you.